Well, thank you, Felicia. Welcome today to our Host Your Own Charm Party. So, this class is going to be a little unique in that not only are you going to learn a couple of skills about how to make some of our really cool, very trendy charm bracelets, I'm also going to give you a couple of tips and tricks on how to throw it as a party. I threw one right before Christmas, but I really think this charm bracelet party would be great for a Galentine's party, a Valentine's party, just kind of a crafty night in if you get snowed in somewhere, or if you just need a night out with some friends. This would be a great opportunity for everybody to maybe bring something, or maybe one person kind of supply things and everybody chip in or something like that. So I'm going to give you as many different tips and tricks as I can to try and make this an affordable class, but something that's very fun, very unique to you, very trendy, and all of those good things too. So we have lots of ideas to share with you today. And I do want to talk to you about lots of different supplies. So let's go ahead and switch over to the other camera. And I'm going to start showing you some of the different things that I'll be working with. So today on our supply list, one of the things that I suggested for you to bring is this paper clip gold chain. So this paper clip chain is actually for a necklace, but we can cut it down into several bracelets. So that's one good way of saving some money rather than buying several different bracelet bases. You can buy some necklaces and turn them into several different bracelets. And then that's one way to kind of save some money if you have a party, if you have several different people coming over. Also, when you're starting your charm bracelet party, something that's very important is for you to kind of decide, are you going to go with gold, or are you going to go with silver? Or would you like to offer the option of gold and silver charms? Because knowing what kind of metal the people at your parties are going to enjoy wearing is really going to help you tell the direction of how to take these charm bracelets. So a lot of our charms come in packs that have multiples. So this is a really pretty charm pack that you can obviously see has lots of different colors. Could be birthstone colors, could be favorite shapes or objects or things like that. But what I like about these charm parties is for you to grab a bunch of charms that have several different options. What also makes this cool is that if you have charms that have several different options, each person at the party can kind of pick the one that kind of represents them the best, but it kind of ties you all back together because you all have maybe a glass heart, you all maybe have some kind of stone. So it kind of ties the group together, but also lets everybody show off their unique style. So these are a couple of the different charms I suggested in the list today. We also have some that are very colorful that are enamel. So these enamel hearts come in very bright, beautiful colors. So if you just grab a pack that has several different options, another good option for just about everybody are these charms that come in shapes. So we have squares, circles, stars, triangles, rectangles. You can get them in gold. You could also look for them in silver. So one of the things you'll notice is that what I have going on here so far is gold, but if I wanted to give the option of silver for the people who are coming to my party, I'll also want to make sure that my charms match, because what you don't want to do is really mix and match metals. You don't want to have gold charms on silver bracelets if you can kind of um, work around that. Now, if that's all you have and that's how it goes and somebody really wants that charm, that's a whole different story and you can just let them. But these enamels are cute. They come in stars, they come in hearts. There are also some that are enamel that come with words and phrases and different things like that. So obviously you have to kind of know the people who are coming to your party. Another idea, I don't know if any of you are on Instagram or TikTok, but you may have seen the trauma dumping with the candy salads. If you guys have ever seen that trend where people will be like, my name's Megan and I brought these charms, and they dump them into a bowl. So you could think about it like that, where maybe everybody brings a set of charms that has several, so that you know there's at least going to be one pack that you yourself are very interested in. And then you're not going to use all of the same charms from the pack. So it'll be nice to kind of mix and match and trade with other people. Now, another thing that I did when I had my charm party was I ahead of time asked people, do you want gold or do you want silver? And I got a mixed message of some people wanted gold and some people had wanted silver. So I wanted to kind of make sure that I was ready for that. Now, if you're the host of this party and you know something about the people coming, like you know the first initial or last initial of everyone, you could have the party set out so that at each one of the seats where someone's going to be, maybe you have the charm for their letter, for their name, for their last name, or if there's a special number to them, maybe the year they were born or how many children they have or something like that. You can put special charms that may be a little bit more expensive and a little bit more personal and unique to them at their spot. And maybe that's your gift to them. And then if you want someone to have some kind of like evil eye to kind of help keep them safe and protected, you can do that too. Now, another thing that I found very helpful at my own charm party was this thing, which is called a snackle box. So if you don't have a snackle box, we can make other things that work similar to this. But what I loved about this is that when I came to the party, everything was all in one place in this beautiful little container. And then what I also loved about the snackle box is that each of these little containers come out. So you can imagine that if you have 8 people or 10 people or even 4 people kind of sitting around a table, it's hard to see all the teeny tiny little charms that are going on. So it might be nice to take each one of these and kind of pass them around the table and let people start to collect the charms that they love the most. So you'll see in this particular little basket, you'll see some more enamel. So remember I showed you those bright colorful stars and bright colorful hearts that have those same kind of enamel coloring. And then there's another pack at Michael's that's so adorable where it has little phrases like, okay, OMG, LOL, wow, different things like that that I think are so cute too. This one says LOL. It's pretty tiny, so I don't know if you can see it very well. But when it hangs, it has the LOL. We have another one that says, yay. I think these are really stinking adorable and very cute. Or if you want something a little bit more design-like rather than a specific word or phrase, we have these cute checkerboard enamel ones also. So they do tend to come in the same pack with multiples. So it's fun to just grab a whole bunch of them, open them up, put them into one of these little cups. You can imagine you can do this with little bowls. If you don't have bowls or a snackle box or something like that, another idea is maybe some of these baking pans that you could grab from a dollar store or anywhere like that. And you can put a couple of different charm options too. I found that when I was separating them, that sometimes I separated all the golds into one of the boxes and all the silver charms. And then sometimes I did keep them mixed. So this whole basket has numbers and has letters. And then there's options for gold and there's options for silver. So depending on what type of bracelet people were making, they could kind of check that out. So we're going to build one of these bracelets together. And I think you're going to want to play along with me. So this is my snackle box. I brought this to the party. I would take any of these charms that I have and kind of separate them into, do you want cutesy bright things? Do you want some zodiac symbols, names, numbers, things like that? Do you want just some random pieces of costume jewelry we can turn into charms? Different things like that, maybe things that mean something to you or you've collected over the years. And then I also have them have a bracelet base. So let's look at our bracelet base. And for us, our bracelet base is going to be the paperclip chain, where I'm not sure where I put that. And we are going to be using some jewelry making tools. So here are the tools we're going to be using. Let me grab my paperclip chain. Oops. So as I said before, the paperclip chain works really well for charm bracelets. This is what it looks like. And this particular chain is in fact a necklace. It's 14 karat gold plated. So much of the bead landing jewelry is nickel free. So if you know anybody has a nickel allergy and can't wear any jewelry that has nickel in it, do check that. But most of our bead landing jewelry is nickel free. This is 14 karat gold, and a lot of the charms also can have that 14 karat gold too. So it's a really elevated charm bracelet. It's not just totally cutesy and plastic. So this can be something really nice and really fancy. So I'm going to take this paperclip chain and I'm going to size it to my wrist. And I'm going to show you how you can break these into smaller bracelets rather than the one large necklace. So I have already used several lengths of this. So you'll see some of it missing already. But I'll take this necklace and I'll put it around my wrist and see about how much I'll want. Now we are going to add some jump rings for closures, so you don't need it to be too long. You would actually rather lend on the shorter side and add jump rings rather than have it too long. Now, some of the different chains will be able to be split using pliers and kind of pulled apart. This paperclip chain does not have any breaks to the metal. They're all solid, so I am going to use a wire cutter to actually go ahead and cut through the wire and make my own break in this metal. So I'm using a pair of wire cutters, and I'm just clipping this so that I can take it from the entire necklace. And then you'll notice that you're going to need a beginning and an ending to this bracelet. So we're going to add what's called a lobster clasp, and we're going to add some jump rings so that we can turn this necklace, paperclip chain necklace, into a beautiful charm bracelet. I think you should be able to get at least 4 bracelets out of this necklace, so that's a really good value for you. There are other options that already come in bracelet size if you prefer to just work from those. You're going to see me using several of these different pairs of pliers. There are some long nose pliers, some needle nose pliers, some different things that work for different types of materials. And I'll kind of show you how I'm using those as we go too. And what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be putting on a lobster clasp and a jump ring to kind of start and end this bracelet. So I'm going to be working in golds. And one of the other things that I did for the party that I was hosting was I happened to have another one of these cool containers from Michaels. And this is one that has these several different little mini spaces that screw on and off so that you can screw that back on and keep it nice and tight and closed. So why I did this was because I knew that everybody, in order to add their charms, was going to need to have different sizes and different colors or different metals of jump rings. And I wasn't sure who was going to pick what. So what I did was I took some gold, some rose gold, some silver, and I put some jump rings and some clasps into each one of these so that I had at least 5 of these to kind of pass around the table so that people could share some pliers and could share some of the different metals with jump rings in order to make their bracelets. So if I'm using a gold chain, I would open up this gold section and have access to several different sizes of jump rings. And also I put in here some clasps. So this is what we call a lobster clasp. And I'm going to use several different jump rings. So I'm going to kind of put those on my table and get those ready to go also. And when I'm making the starting and the finishing of my bracelet, you want to have a lobster clasp on one end, and then you might want several jump rings on the other end so that your person who's wearing it can have options of how tight they want the bracelet to be and where they want to kind of grab onto one of those jump rings to make it either tighter or looser around their wrist. Now, jump ring 101 is you're going to need any 2 pliers. Doesn't matter for this particular part which of the pliers you're using. Any of your 2 pliers, but you're going to use 2 hands for this. And with the jump ring, these jump rings will always have a break in the metal. And so that's the place where you want to open and close the ring. You're going to use 2 hands and 2 sets of pliers. So a lot of times people think that jump rings should just open up, like open them wide, make the circle wider, and then close it back up. And that actually kind of messes with the integrity of the jump ring and it actually kind of keeps it from being round and circular and things like that. So instead, what you actually want to do is I'm going to take my right wrist and I'm going to move it forward, and I'm going to move my left wrist backwards, kind of like a motorcycle bike. And I'm going to be going in opposite directions with my wrists, one forward and one backward. And what that's doing is it's making this gap, but it's keeping the circle, keeping the integrity of the circle. So then I'm going to put this jump ring through the end of my paperclip chain. And then I'm going to close this jump ring by doing the opposite. So I'm going to pull my left hand towards me, or away from me, and my right hand towards me. And this is going to close that circle back up, and you can be even more precise, making sure there's no gap for that to fall through. And then you have a really nice jump ring at the end of your bracelet that your lobster clasp can easily grab onto. So we want to attach our lobster clasp. So I'm going to use a much smaller jump ring to attach this lobster clasp with this little hole here to the paperclip chain. So again, with my jump rings, I'm going to make one wrist go forward and one wrist go backwards. And I'm twisting it open rather than pulling it open. So I twist the jump ring to make an opening. I'm going to slide it through the paperclip. Slide that lobster clasp through as well. And then I'm going to close up the jump ring by moving my wrist the opposite direction and making sure that's nice and closed, which it is. So now I have this attachment, and I can use this lobster clasp to grab the jump ring at the end and have a bracelet that's able to open and close. And then you have plenty of space on this bracelet. Yes, thank you. Ta-da! So I have a bracelet that is ready for some charms now. And so we can start thinking about the different charms that we want to play with. If we want something kind of all metallic, if we want something very colorful, whatever is going to float our boat. I really love these hearts. These glass hearts are so cute. So I'm going to pick two of these that I like the best, and my eye tends to go towards blue. So I'm going to pick this light blue and this darker blue of these hearts. And you can kind of start planning out where on your bracelet you want to go and how many charms you want to have. So I might space these hearts out and then put one or two things in between them. Let's check out some more things that we have. I really like these hearts as well. So since we kind of have a blue heart theme going, I'm going to take another one of these blues, trying to decide if I want this light blue or more of like a periwinkle. I think I'm going to go with the light blue. And all of these kind of come twist tied on, so they're pretty easy to take back off and get that charm for you. If you have any particular kind of letter or zodiac or something like that, those are really fun to add on. Or like I said before, if you want to kind of ward away any evil that might be coming, you can add an evil eye. There are some traditions, though, that say that you shouldn't put an evil eye on your own bracelet. Someone would need to put that on there for you, or else it is kind of bad luck to add your own evil eye to your own jewelry. But depends on what your beliefs are. You can also think about different numbers and different letters. So if this is your 6th year of doing something, or you have a 3-year-old this year or something that you want to commemorate with a number or with a letter, you can do that. If you have somebody's name that has the letter of your choice, these letter packages are really nice too, because you can get all 26 letters of the alphabet for a very cheap price. And then assuming that most of the people at your party will use a different letter, maybe some people use first names and some people use last names, you're going to have lots of cool options for that. I really like these shapes as well. So like these triangles could go nicely with what I have. There's also a really nice gold heart. So since I do have a very lovely love theme, maybe I want a gold heart chain. And this is my favorite part, is just kind of playing with all the different charms and picking out. We have some very specialized, adorable charms like ballerinas, some that look like bows because bows are a very big trend. I do have lots of the different symbols for the different zodiac signs. I myself am an Aquarius. So my birthday's coming up in January, and so I have a little water symbol on some of mine. This one is so stinking cute. It's a little fortune cookie. I love fortune cookies. I love these stars. Let me see if I can find maybe one or two more charms that I want to put onto this specific bracelet. And then another thing I'm going to show you in class today is how you could make your own charms. If you have some things in mind that you would like to try and fit on. I have some enamel stars. So maybe I find that same blue that I have with my heart and have a blue star to go with my blue heart. And then I think I've shown you this one before too, the enamel that has a checkerboard. All right, I think I have all my charms picked out. And because I'm working in gold, I'm going to be using gold jump rings in order to put this all together. And I will try and move this a little closer so that you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to open my bracelet all the way up, and I like to kind of decide the distribution of the charms, where they're going to go, especially if some of the charms are going to be heavier. So I think I'm going to put this checkerboard more in the center, and then I'm going to put the hearts around it, and then maybe keep building out where I have my gold. Or I might switch the glass and the gold with the fortune cookie and the heart. And then I'm going to see if I want to keep adding more, if I want to add this heart and the star, if I maybe just want these 5. So in order to add your charms to your bracelets, you're going to be using those same techniques I showed you with the jump rings and with your pliers. So I'm going to take a jump ring, and you can decide how long you want them to dangle away from the bracelet. So I'm twisting this jump ring open, and then I'm going to put the checkerboard through. And some of the charms come with a jump ring already, and some of them don't have any added to them at all. So once we add this jump ring and this charm, it will have a little bit of dangle to it. So I'm closing up that jump ring by twisting back. And this is at the center. Now you're going to want to pay attention to where and how they land too. So if I only had one jump ring going through, it would make my charm twist it and kind of make it this way instead of being able to lay flat. So sometimes it's nice to have 2 jump rings so that you can have them be able to lay flat along your wrist or along a table or wherever you're going to lay it out. And then when you're going to add out your bracelet charms, you might want to count how many away they are so that you can kind of keep it symmetric. So maybe my next charm, I'm going to add on the 1, 2, 3, or 4th chain away from the center. I think I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to add it to the space right here at 3. And these ones are pretty small. So I'm going to take another medium-sized jump ring. It's definitely smaller than the first one. And I'm going to twist that open using my tools. Here's the fortune cookie. I'm going to add that on. Oops. I love a good fortune cookie, especially for a new year. I need to open this a little bit wider to get that charm through. And while it's open, I count my 1, 2, 3 spaces away. And then I close this back up and make sure that it's laying flat and that I like the way that it is. And you're going to want to pay attention to direction also. So when I put this one down here, I believe I have them going in the same direction. And I might decide that these are too close to each other and I might move them apart. Let me pull this a little closer so you can see. But I have a little bit of space and then I have the fortune cookie. And then I'm going to leave that same amount of space over here and put the little heart that kind of will bookend the fortune cookie. So it looks like I only skipped one space and put it on the second instead of the third. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. And if they are backwards, then you can undo the jump ring one more time and retwist it so that they lay in the direction you want. Now, some people want their charms to go in different directions. They want some coming off this way and some coming off the other way. So that is completely up to you. I'm going to add the heart. And I'm going to skip one paper clip and go into the second one. And then I'm going to close that charm back up by twisting. Beautiful. And here we go with my checkerboard, with my fortune cookie, and with my heart so far. Now I'm going to add on those two glass hearts. So I'm going to leave a little space again and add on those two. Trying to keep track of which direction my chain is going. And I'm going to get a couple more gold jump rings from my little container. So it's nice to have a variety of sizes. And as I was saying before, if some people in your group are using silver and some are using gold, it's nice for them to have all the different options in one place so that you don't have to pass these teeny tiny things around, that you can have a container full of them for each person ready to go. Twisting this jump ring. I'm going to put this blue, light blue heart. I'm going to skip a space or two. I'm going to try and skip 2 spaces, see if I like that. Beautiful. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So let me know in the chat if you have questions or if you're thinking about having your own party, but you're not really sure about a couple of things, about the price, about how much of something to buy. Let me know and see if I can help answer some of those questions for you. I love people coming and crafting live with me. That's always fun to interact with you. Excellent. So this is looking great so far. We have a couple of different styles. It's kind of hard for me to get a good angle so that you can see them on my actual wrist, but I can kind of flip through and you can see all the different sparkle and shine. Very fun. And I do think I'm going to go ahead and add the heart and the star on this one as well. And I like that some of the charms are longer and some of the charms are shorter. I like that variety, but you can obviously be more purposeful and pick charms that are the same length. Or if you want to add extra jump rings to the teeny tiny ones, then you can make them dangle at the same length if that might bother you or something like that. So I'm going to open up another jump ring. Yeah, so someone's asking a great question in the chat about how much of things to buy and what's a good starting price. So yes, I have seen a lot of this happen lately in some of the markets. So I've seen some people coming out as kind of like boutiques where they have all the charms set out, they have all the metals set out, and it's kind of like mix and match and you personalize with them and they make it for you kind of in front of them or in front of you. And so we can talk a little bit about pricing and what we think that that would be worth. But for you as the person who is making the craft, I highly recommend, like I said before, these larger packs that have 12 charms in them. So not only does it give the people that you're working with or your customers lots of different color options, it's also saving you money because I believe this one clip of these is about $7, $6 or $7. So that's a lot cheaper per charm. When you start getting into these boutique charm shops, a lot of times each charm could cost $3 or $4. And so then when people are trying to build a charm bracelet, they don't understand how expensive it's actually going to end up being. And they're a little sticker shocked by how expensive some of these can be, especially if you're using 14 karat gold. This is real gold that we're using on this chain. So it isn't just cheapy. It is something nice that's not going to tarnish your skin. It's not going to do anything like that. And you're going to have a very elegant kind of bracelet at the end. Now you can do things on the cheaper side. So if you don't want to buy these chain link bracelets, I recommend, like I said before, buying them in a necklace size and cutting them down to bracelets. That's a little bit cost saving. You can get about 4 bracelets per necklace. So I think that's a good value for you as well. If you are trying to start off either with a party or with a business, maybe pick one metal, because if you pick one metal, all gold or all silver, then you can really specialize in having all the gold charms that go with it, all the gold jump rings, and you won't have to buy double the amount of supplies. If you do decide to have the option of gold and silver, not only are you going to have to buy gold and silver of all the different kinds of charms, but you're also going to have to buy gold and silver of all the different clasps and all the different jump rings. So keep that in mind, that one way to save costs is to pick a metal and stick with it. Another way to save costs is to buy the larger charm packets. Like I said before, you can get a packet that has all of the alphabet letters for relatively inexpensive. And then you have lots of options for people to pick from. If you know ahead of time certain people and certain letters, you can buy them individually. But you do want to kind of use some of these multi-packs in order to kind of give you some very broad appeal. Another thing I want to show you is another thing that's become really popular is taking these charms and putting them onto trucker caps. So we sell Make Market at Michael's has a lot of these different kind of colors and styles of blank hats. And so you can tell that I could easily put a jump ring through here in order to attach this like a charm. And then another way you can elevate the same party, and another really popular trend that's happening right now, is to take a bunch of patches. So Michael's has a ton of really cool patches. Some of them make me laugh so much. Like this one, Nacho Business. It's one of my favorites. And also, I was made in the 80s. I don't know if you guys were made in the 80s, but you can put a couple of different patches. You can personalize your hat even more with some of these charms. So you can go very, very elegant with your charm bracelets with your 14 karat gold, or you can go silly and you can go fun and cutesy with kind of a trucker hat patch party. I've also seen these patches be very popular for putting onto like plain jumpsuits. So people will buy sweatpants and sweatshirts. And are you laughing at my made in the 80s? And you can put these, iron these onto sweatshirts and iron these onto canvas bags. So if you're doing a party, you can have a charm party and you can have a patch party, or you can do one or the other in pretty similar ways too. You might want to buy your patches a little bit more in bulk. Don't forget to look in the kids section. The kids section has so many cute patches. Sometimes they're smaller or sometimes they're more comical, but there are a lot of times the kids and the adults don't really look that different. So don't sleep on the kids section. The kids section has a lot of really fun, good patches to play with also. I am a huge pizza fan. French fries and dinosaurs, why not? So grab yourself some patches, grab yourself a trucker hat, and you can turn this party into a patches and charm bracelet party. Another inexpensive option is maybe you want to make the chains yourself. So maybe you don't want to buy the 14 karat gold paperclip necklace. Maybe you just want to buy a bunch of jump rings. And so you can take jump rings and put them together and make your own base chain. So you can definitely buy these for very cheap and definitely buy them in bulk in any of the different types of metals. And you can make your own bases, and that might be some way that you could save money or offer a bigger variety of colors. These can come in black, they come in all the different enamel colors, red, orange, yellow, blue, but you can have the lobster clasp and the jump rings in any particular color. And then you can also find lots of cool charms that are very bright and fun, good vibes, groovy. So again, check out some of the kids sections. And one thing I did want to show you definitely before we go is how to kind of make some of your own charms. So let me show you. All right, here are a couple of cutesy beads. So this bead is just a little cute smiley face, and this bead is like a scalloped seashell. If I wanted to turn either of these into a charm that I could add to a charm bracelet, so instead of buying charms, another inexpensive way is to buy a string of beads and turn each one of the beads into a charm as well. So in order to do that, you're going to want something called an eye pin. And an eye pin looks like this. It's a little piece of metal, and then it has a circle at the end. There are head pins and there are eye pins. Head pins have a little pin at the end of them, kind of looks like a little nail or a little thumbtack, and the eye pins have the circle. So the circle is a good place to start when you're adding a charm because it gives you somewhere to attach your jump ring to put it onto your bracelet. So I can go through a bead with an eye pin and I can turn this bead into its own charm. So now I am going to use these needle nose pliers. And what I want to do is I want to twist this wire and I'm going to bend it 90 degrees. So I've taken the wire and I've bent it 90 degrees. And then I'm going to keep turning my needle nose plier to kind of wrap that metal. And I'm going to make a loop here on the bottom. So I'm wrapping my metal around the bottom of my bead. And the goal is to try and make that same loop at the top and at the bottom by using my tools. And the reason why these are so round and pointy with these pliers is to purposely be able to make these loops. And I'm readjusting and twisting. And then when I get the loop to a place that I like it, I can take some of this excess metal. I can use my wire cutters and cut it off. Kind of hard for me to reach across and be able to do this on camera right now. But you can probably get the idea, even if it doesn't look perfect at this time, that I'm able to make a little loop. And then I'm going to take my wire cutters and I'm going to cut off some of that excess. There we go. And now I have taken a bead and I've turned it into a usable charm that I can hang from this jump ring, add another jump ring and put it onto one of my bracelets. So you can make your own charms by taking a strand of beads. So look through some of those beautiful bead aisles at Michael's. This is a bead landing strand of check glass beads that look like really groovy flowers. So I can buy this and look at how many different charms I can get from this chain or string of beads. I can cut each one of these apart and I can turn them into their own charms. And I do a little bit of prep before the party to have these available, or during the party, you can also teach people how to take any of those beads and turn them into their own charms. So you might even want a charm bracelet that's full of these beautiful flowers and maybe a number or a letter in between or something like that. So I think we're doing pretty well on time. But if anyone has any questions, or if there's any other things that you would love for me to try and go over, I'd be happy to do that. Kind of in the meantime, while I'm waiting for some questions to come in, I'm going to show you a little bit more with the base bracelets, some other options that you can have. So, ooh, there's a good question. Yes, please share any projects you have on our Instagram, which is Learn with Michaels. We'd love to see what you're able to make. This bracelet I'm going to show you next is kind of using some larger charms and definitely some colorful charms. So there's some charms that have Valentine's conversation hearts. This one says be kind. I have the checkerboard you've seen in some of my other ones. I have a really 14 karat beautiful music note that has a little bling in it. This one is a little cloud with some cute little stars that dangle and a rainbow. So this is another option for a base of your bracelet, and this is a thicker chain than the paperclip style I showed you at the beginning. Another type of bracelet that I really like that Michaels has right now too is, I don't know if you're like me or not, but I have a really hard time getting bracelets on and off. So this is another bracelet base. And what's cool about this one, it comes in either silver or it comes in gold. And watch when I put this on my wrist, it has this very cool clasp that's metal, but you take these two beads and you hold on to them and you can tighten the metal. So you don't have to worry about the lobster clasp and trying to get it on by yourself. And then when you need to release it, you can just pull on this bead in the center and you can get it back off. I love this bracelet. I love this bracelet to be able to put it on and off by myself. And I do like that extra little bit of metal dangle. But on this bracelet, you might be able to see, I have some cool charms too that have a little lightning bolt. And I have a little silver rainbow. I have a little broken heart, or maybe half of a heart from a friendship or a relationship. I have my letter M, and I have a cute little bow for the little bow trend that's very popular right now. This one I have is one of my paper clip chains, and I have the enamel hearts that I've been showing you. This time I went for like white and black. I have my Aquarius symbol. I have a really pretty black and white shape, and that was in those gemstones that I showed you towards the beginning, that you can get 12 of those in a pack and pull them out for different beautiful bracelets. You see my cute little gold star, and that gold star is the same pack that had the heart and the triangle. And here's another enamel heart. I have a black enamel heart and a white enamel heart on this one, and a little diamond. And all of these make up another really beautiful charm bracelet. So you can see some of the charm bracelets that I've been making on my personal Instagram, which is the number 4M Coleman. And I'll have some more pictures to show you on there. I would love for you to tag us at Learn with Michaels and show us any charm bracelets or any charms that you're really into or you're really interested in. And one more charm brace I want to kind of introduce you to is one that's already formed in a metal band that you can just slip on like a bangle. And then what's nice about this is it does already come with a couple of jump rings on it, but you can imagine that you can just add more and more jump rings all the way around this circle and add as many different charms as you want to this particular base. So there's lots of different choices for whatever kind of base you want to work with. Or like I said before, you can also make your own base just by connecting a bunch of jump rings together. So I think this might be a good place for us to stop, Felicia, unless you see any other questions or anything else that anyone wants to ask me about.
I have not. This sounds like this is good.
I know, right?
I did put in the chat for your class tomorrow. So
Yes.
definitely,
Vision board.
if you have not signed up, now will be a great time to do so.
Absolutely. So in tomorrow's class, we're going to take a lot of time to do some good inner work, some good reflection, think about our visions and dreams and goals for next year, and then do a little bit of paper crafting, some collaging together, and kind of take some of our thoughts and feelings and put them down onto a board that will hopefully manifest all these beautiful things in the year 2025. So thank you so much for coming together. Yes, wear several charm bracelets together. Absolutely put as many of them on as you want to. Add as many charms as you want. Go crazy with them. So I'm so glad to see so many of you today, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Felicia and I are back here on Thursdays and Fridays with live classes, so sign up for as many of them as you can. And check out the Michaels website for all of our upcoming online classes from all of our different instructors. So have a great day, stay safe, and I'll see you guys again soon.